Oh, hi there. Let's see who's coming. All right, how's it? Get better. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to my chat. Sorry, a little bit late. We're having technical difficulties here. But it's all sorted now. Hello, Lomi. All right. Hello, Jacqueline. Hi, Anna. Woohoo. Yay, you're here. Okay, sorry I'm late today, but I ran into some technical difficulties. So for those of you who are joining me this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are, welcome to my talk this afternoon. So if you followed me last week, I dedicated the week to functional language. How's it, a booty? And there is so much functional language out there that I decided that this week we're going to do more functional language. Abudi, I am 100%. How are you, buddy? I've got my tea. This actually is a mug from one of my students, Mohsen, if you're watching. Got tea. It's wonderful, and we are ready to chat. Hello, Elise. Thank you for joining. Okay, YouTubers, thank you for joining. I'm sorry that I took so long, but it's raining in Cape Town is probably the reason. Okay, so let's get going. Like I said, we dealt with functional language last week, and we are going to continue on with functional language this week. And this week I'm going to be looking at giving bad news, offering, asking, giving, and refusing permission, asking questions, and complaining. 5 very important areas of functional language. And another reason why we're going to be dealing with this is because very often we need to decide which modal verb we are going to use. And so thank you very much for joining, everybody. And here we go. Today, we are going to be talking about giving bad news. Hi, everybody, for those of you who have just joined. So I think we can agree that overall, being the bearer of bad news is never easy. Ergo, doing it in another language is even more nerve-wracking. I've done it in another language, and it is really 10 times harder to do than in your own language. And why is that? Well, again, it boils down to functional language, knowing what phrases are the most appropriate in specific situations. Now, obviously, we can't go into great detail in such a brief period, but let me break it down for you in six manageable steps that you can take. And within each step, I have linked some functional language that you can hang on to. All right. And I've taken the most important, maybe not important, but the most widely used expressions, phrases that you can use for this. All right. Now, as always with functional language, and every other expression, you need to make sure that your body language is moving with you. Okay, so keep that in mind. So here are my 6 ways for you to deliver bad news in a kind way. So let's start with the first one. And the first one doesn't require you to have any, guys, get ready for it. If there is any time to be prepared for a conversation to be had, it's this one. It is the unpleasant giving of bad news. So you need to think about what you want to say, why you want to say it, and choose your words correctly, accurately, carefully. I would even go as far as asking someone you trust to help you choose the correct vocab for the situation if you're not sure. And then practice it out loud. Hello, Hemo. Nice that you could join us. Hello. So that's number one. Very, very, very important, guys. Think about what you want to say. Do not go into a conversation of this sort in another language without having prepared carefully. All right. Number two, get to the point. Now, this is important. Don't engage in small talk. It doesn't work. You want to go directly to what you need to discuss by using an appropriate lead-in. So lead-in is how you start or initiate that conversation. I cannot stress the importance of lead-ins. I'm speaking to someone. A lead-in which is not clear can lead to misunderstanding. So a clear lead-in is key. Here are some lead-ins that you can use. I'm going to start with the formal lead-in that you would use in a more professional context. So let's say you're speaking to a colleague, your boss, or perhaps a customer. You can start by saying, I'm sorry, I have to tell you. I'm sorry, I have to tell you. I'm afraid I have some bad news. I'm afraid I have some bad news. And you can also say something that requires a little bit of practice because it's not very, very common. But I like this one a lot. There is no easy way to say this. Soft. It doesn't go in for, well, I've got some bad news for you. So there's no easy way for me to say this. All right. Remember that this is, you can use it for formal or informal. Okay. So those are my my three professional lead-ins. I'll repeat them. I'm so sorry I have to tell you. And I'm afraid I have some bad news. And the third one, there is no easy way to say this. And the last one can be used also for an informal sense. For the informal giving of bad news, so this one here would be for friends or family, you could start by saying, I'm so sorry, but maybe you should sit down for this. I've got some bad news. I'm sorry. And look, I'm just going to say it. All right, let me repeat that. This is for friends. Maybe you should sit down for this. I've got some bad news. And look, I'm just going to say it. All right. So that is getting to the point using the correct or correct, most appropriate lead-in. Remember, a lead-in that is not that doesn't hit the nail on the head may be construed as a misunderstanding, and that you don't want. You don't want a misunderstanding when you're about to give bad news. Okay. All right. The third one is pause. Just stop. Once you have delivered the bad news, stop talking. All right. It's never pleasant to receive bad news. I'm sure you have received bad news before in your life. I know I have. And one of the most important things you can do if you're delivering bad news is to not ramble. Just pause. And allow the person to let it sink in. You can use some phrases to help you with this. For example, do you need some time to think? Do you need some time to think? I'll give you a minute, or I'll give you a moment. Or this is a lot. I know. Please take some time. All right, so these three phrases, these three bits of functional language are going to help you with that pause. You're actually going to use the language to tell the person that you're giving them some time to let it sink in. So this is a way for you to bridge that pause. Let me repeat it. Do you need some time to think? I'll give you a minute, or I'll give you a moment. And this is a lot, I know. Please take some time. All right? So that is pausing, letting them sink in, letting them take some time to absorb the message that you've given them. All right. The fourth area is, the fourth part or tip is that you will often have to give some extra details. This will answer to the why you have given them the bad news, why you have delivered them this news. And this is something that you will have prepared for. These details are something that you will have thought about before you started the conversation. So, rule number one, stick to the facts. Don't add anything that you haven't thought about. And these are some phrases that you can use for this. So, if it's formal, again, for your boss, your colleague, or a customer, you can start by saying, due to the fact that, due to the fact that, or it was a matter of, or unfortunately, after consulting my head of department, HR, sales, etc. Or it is a situation where, if it's a situation where it is informal and you don't need to include anybody else in this particular situation, so there's no boss or HR or another third party involved, and it's a little bit less formal, you can use these phrases. Well, it's because. Hello, Ishmael, it's because. Or the main issue is, and lastly, look, there is no other way around this. Okay, so let me repeat those. So here you need to give extra details. You have thought about it, and the golden rule is to stick to the facts that you thought of when you were prepping this conversation. And you can initiate this part of the conversation, if it's formal, by saying, due to X, Y, and Z. It was a matter of X, Y, and Z. And unfortunately, after consulting my head of department, director, boss, HR department, it was decided that. And if it's informal, you want to say, well, it's because. Or the main issue is, and lastly, there is just no other way around this. All right, so these are really important for giving the extra detail. All right, number 5, show compassion. It's tough, but I'm not saying it's tough to show compassion, but it's, in a way, I can understand why a person would get defensive, right? But respect for the person receiving the news, as well as showing an understanding for their feelings and how they respond to that message, is really important. It is likely that the news they get is upsetting, or some phrases that you can use for this too, as promised. So if you are in a formal situation, you can use these phrases. Please accept my apologies. I know it's not pleasant or what you wanted to hear. Please accept my apologies. I know it's not pleasant or what you wanted to hear. You can use the whole thing, or you can use just parts of it. I can appreciate your feeling or your reaction. So, guys, in English, the word appreciate has a very different meaning in this context. All right? It means that you acknowledge and understand. So we use it, and it's very formal. I can appreciate how you're feeling. Okay? And the last one would be, I wish the situation were different. I wish the situation were different. Hi, Marwan. Hi, Talki. Hi there. All right, so let me repeat the formal phrases that you can use, the formal functional language you can use for showing compassion. In a formal setting, you would say, please accept my apologies. I know it's not pleasant or what you wanted to hear. I can appreciate your feeling or your response. And I wish the situation were different. Okay, now for a more informal setting, so again, for your friends or your family, you could say, look, I can see why you are feeling this way, or I can see why you might feel this way. Or, sorry again for X, Y, and Z. I'm sorry again for X, Y, and Z. And I really wish I could help you. And I know that the last one might seem insincere, but if you have given thought to what you are saying, it won't be. And it really needs to be heartfelt. So let me repeat those. I can see why you might feel that way, or I can see why you're feeling this way. This is like the informal version of I can appreciate how you feel. I'm so sorry again for. And, of course, I really wish I could help you. I really wish I could help you. In many situations, people that give the bad news really do wish, really, really do wish that there were another option, a way they could help. And if you want to take it a step further, you could actually offer alternatives, right? But that really is highly dependent on the situation and if it's formal or an informal setting, all right? There's definitely more space to talk about that, though. Not right now. We are going to move on to the last tip, and that would be to remain calm. And it seems like the obvious thing to do, but you may be in the receiving end of something regretful or angry being said to you. The person will be upset, maybe in tears, and may use phrases and expressions that are regretful and not pleasant. So in the face of this, I put myself in that person's situation and try to see that person's position. It is not personal, and the emotions of the person are real. So for this particular case, there is some functional language that you can use, and that is, I can see that you're mad, angry, or sad. I'm so sorry. I can see that you're mad, angry, or sad. I'm so sorry. Or, I can't imagine how you must be feeling. I can't imagine how you must be feeling. I'm so sorry. And in an informal sense, like really, really informal though, like sucks. And I'm pretty sure you've heard that, right? Have you heard it? Hi, Lily. Nice to see you. Well, I'm glad that you could join us. All right. So let me quickly summarize those 6 points. If you have missed some of them, you're welcome to then watch the recorded video at the end. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get ready for that conversation. Make sure you know what you want to say and choose your words correctly, carefully. The second point is getting to the point. And with that, you want to make sure that you have used the correct functional language. Do not engage in small talk. Just go for the conversation that you prepared in your head. For the third point is you want to pause. Make sure that the person has time to absorb what you have said. Fourth point is that you may need to give some extra details. So do so mindfully so that you are answering why. The fifth one is to show compassion. Be kind and remember that emotions are real, and being respectful towards it is of utmost importance. The last one is to remain calm in the face of someone who might be really, really upset. And unfortunately, with you, you are the person that is carrying the bad news. You might just be the messenger of the bad news, but you're still giving them the bad news. Doesn't really make a difference to the person that is receiving it. So for those of you that missed the beginning of the talk, for each section, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So from number 2 to number 6, I have given some examples of the functional language that you can use to engage in those particular parts of a difficult conversation that you need to have. So with that, guys, I know that it's not something that you do every single day, but it is something that will come up. And if it does come up in English, just remember that it doesn't have to be difficult. Just remember to think carefully about what you want to say and deliver it with tact and respect, and use the functional language appropriately. All right. There are tons of different YouTube videos that you can watch, that you can see people in role plays, exchanging apologies, giving delivering bad news. So you can also get some practice doing that. So with that, guys, I hope that you have gained some interesting and useful tips from this. Don't forget to go back to the videos on the YouTube channel and make use of all the excellent tips available in all of our videos. And as always, guys, thank you very much for having watched. Thank you for having joined me. Remember that English 1 is online now. We have fantastic online classes with groups of students, and we also offer private lessons and specialized classes. If you're interested in more information, please reach out to us on one of our platforms, and I will also leave our details in the description box in the YouTube channel below. Feel free to go to the YouTube channel to subscribe and watch the videos again. With that, thank you very much, everybody. It was wonderful this evening, this morning, wherever you are. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.